Guys, I'm in Washington State and I am on my way to Alaska for a month-long trip. My good friend Nate from the YouTube channel Dirt Lifestyle said, hey, if you're coming through Washington on your way up, stop by. And I said, heck yeah, it's been a minute. And he's got a brand new place and he's got a lot going on in his life. And Nate and I have known each other. We've known each other for a while, my friend. Any idea how many years it's been?
I mean, it's gotta be 5?
6.
It has been 6 years?
It's been 6 years.
Yeah.
We've known each other for 6 years. We've been on
crazy.
some amazing adventures together. We've hung out together at many different events and just random places. It's awesome being here at your beautiful homestead house.
Thanks, man.
And in your shop, which I've only seen on videos, which is an amazing job. What I want to do in this video is I want to dive into a little bit into you and your life and how things are going for you. But I also want to talk about a little bit about kind of the off-road overland industry and kind of where things are going, if you're okay with maybe getting into some controversial topics.
100%.
Yeah. But how are things going? How are you doing?
Things are going good. That's the short version. Every time I do one of these, I always feel like, am I looking at the camera enough?
No. Look, guys, if you're visiting this channel for the first time, this is a coffee one take, although we're not drinking coffee because it's the evening, but we don't edit, we just let it roll, and so that's how it's going to be. I want to start with the first time we met. Can we dive into that? Because you left a lasting impression on me, and then I'll dive into a couple of memories that I think are pretty cool.
Is it the Hammers?
Yeah.
So technically, we met once, briefly before that, at Easter Jeep Safari. I remember coming up and introducing myself to you whenever, and we recognized each other, obviously. Yeah. We were at like a Warren party or something, at like a pizza place.
Right.
And I had really wanted to figure out a time and a place where we could get together, and then we worked it out for King of the Hammers the following year.
That was a very busy event, intense event. There was a lot going on, but I think we got to know each other really well at that King of the Hammers event.
Yeah, definitely.
And I brought out my brand new Gladiator. The Gladiator had just been released.
Right. Yeah.
And I gave you the keys and I was like, oh boy, here we go. And we had a great time though.
Yeah, totally.
Because we got to know each other. You drove the Gladiator for the first time, and then we went and did, was it Turkey Claw? Was that the trail that we did on your TJ?
We did Blueberry, I think.
Blueberry.
So we went through Turkey Claw, and then to get away from everybody, we took a right instead of a left, and we went up Blueberry, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Well, I will say we hit it off really well right away. I think.
Definitely.
And we had been talking about another trip that we were going to plan, and that one, my friend, has a tremendous amount of memories for me, and that was when we came up here and you gave us a guided tour in Washington. So my wife came on her first big overland adventure with that trip. It was life-changing for her.
Shout out Regina.
Yeah. And you took us through the Olympic Peninsula. We went through the place where we got married, and then we did part of the BDR. And brother, that was such an amazing trip. But what I realized during that trip, because you had your son with you, who was he 2 or 3 at the time?
Yeah, he was young.
He was young. You were so caring, and you were so attentive to his needs and making sure he was having a good time. And I knew right then and there, I was like, that's a good human right there.
Wow,
he's a good father, and way more patience than I had when my kids were that little, man. But
you made me get emotional. I care so much about my family, and so I put a lot of effort into trying to be as patient as we can be. Yeah. There's moments where we all just, you get a little louder than you should, and whatever else, you know what I mean? But that means a lot for you to say that.
Yeah, well, I know that your family is a big part of, everything you do. How has that been, going out and having adventures with your family?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, that's why I started bringing. I get asked this all the time. Tips for new parents: bring your kids out early. Yeah. I mean, when they're like 6 months, that's too labor intensive in my opinion. But like, I brought my son out wheeling for the first time in my TJ. We did Busy Wild over in LB. I think he was like just turned 3. And right around that time is when he started coming constantly on trips with me. Like, where we would, I do plenty of wheeling where I just don't film anything, and I'm just out with my friends, just because I love this and it is a job. But what's funny, what's so telling about guys like us is that when we want to take a break from the job, we still keep doing this. We just don't film it.
Right. Yeah.
And so there was all these trips that I was constantly bringing my son out at like 3 and 4. And I think that we have such a solid relationship now, and a special relationship, because of all of those trips where it's just him and me.
Yeah.
It really, like, it made a big impact on me, and I know it did on him.
Yeah.
And we just have this really special relationship because of, you know, not to get too graphic, you teach your kid how to go to the bathroom in the woods for the first time. And they're like, you know, and everything associated with that. And being around a campfire and being in the rain and being in the snow. And my son, because I got him doing that so early, he is such a tank. He is so durable. Like, he doesn't complain. You'll be grown-ups complaining about how cold it is. Right. He doesn't even notice because he's just been indoctrinated into outside. Yep. And it was such a very important thing that I did for my kids. So anybody who's a new parent and you're wondering, like, well, how soon is too soon? I mean, you could take them out when they're 6 months. Yeah. It's just, I would say once you can communicate with them, like, hey, don't jump off that cliff. Like, that's about the age that it's just about right, where they can follow instructions. So like 2.5, 3, I feel like is a pretty good age. And then, I mean, that's how I grew up, is camping very, very young. You probably similar.
Actually, you know, we didn't do a lot of camp. We did a little bit of camping. It was like campground, tent camping. And I've said this a bunch of times that I wish I could rewind in time and have figured out this overlanding thing with my kids much earlier. Because again, we did the campground, tent camping thing, and we used to go, you know, ride dirt bikes and ATVs, but we never did what we're doing now. And we have some amazing adventures, even though my kids are now young adults. Man, I wish I could rewind it when they were 3 years old.
I feel very fortunate that because I grew up camping constantly, and we were military, so I camped around the world. I'm very fortunate. Yeah. But it wasn't like, I can only remember a handful of times where it was like dispersed camping. It was almost always in a national park or a campground somewhere, that kind of thing. Never RVs or anything. Yeah. But camping in tents, you know, we lived in Greece, we lived in an island called Crete, and we were camping like on the Mediterranean Sea. Like, remember camping in Turkey? We went camping through Turkey. So like those were so important to like how I grew up. And then, Boy Scouts. Were you Boy Scout?
No.
No?
No.
Man, how did you get it? Let's flip the table here.
Military, man. The
military.
The military did it for me. I forced to go camping. So, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So, of all the adventures that we've had together, so the Oregon one has a lot of big memories for me. Which one? What stands out for you on some of the adventures we've had together? Is there anything that like
during somewhat early COVID, like the first year into COVID, I came down to California. And I brought my Land Rover, and you and I spent like 5 or 6 days going up and down California, and that's a special trip to me. Yeah, that was really fun. But what was cool is that we went to some of it. We went to you planned, and some of it went to what I planned. Right. And I planned based on just research. I don't know California. I do now, but in those days I didn't really. And so we got to go to that Poker Flats place, which I know was really cool for all of us. And, you know, you took me up that really high
Kavanaugh Ridge.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was cool.
This is beautiful.
We have epic snow and stuff here, so people might think that we have really high elevations, but really, I think the highest drivable road in Washington is like 7,200. Oh wow. And it's like, that's by far the highest drivable. Under that, you're in like the low 6,000s. Yeah. So to come to California and expecting it to be about the same, and it's not. I think you were like 10,500.
11,000.
11,000.
Kavanaugh's 11,000, yeah.
Pretty dang cool. So that made a big, and then how private it was right on the lake. And, you know, Josh, it was my first time meeting Josh. God, man, that trip for me was awesome. We did a little bit of fishing, not any catching. But it was still, that was a great trip.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, I want to dive into you a little bit. So you've been doing YouTube for, I think you said your 6th anniversary just came up.
Last Saturday. My loving wife, if she ever sees this, last Saturday, I don't keep track of these things very well. And she came up to me with a pancake, and she had cut a little play button inside of a pancake and put like a strawberry, so it's red. And she was like, happy 6 years on YouTube. I was like, no way. So yeah, just 6 years.
What was life like before YouTube? What were you doing?
Dude, I was doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So here's what's funny. I was doing what I was doing now. My dad is a photographer. He never really got into video, but pictures. And I started wheeling right out of high school. Yeah. I worked two jobs my senior year. I was working 55 hours a week plus school. I've always been a worker. And so I saved up, and when I graduated high school, I traded in my 78 Cutlass Supreme, and I bought 87 S10 Blazer, 5-speed manual. I was 20, and I had run into a friend at Hollywood Video. I was renting a movie. Shows how old I am. And my buddy Philip ran into me there. It was like Thursday, and he's like, this is the summer of after I graduated. So this would have been summer of 2004. And he's like, dude, what are you doing this weekend? I told him I just got this 4x4 truck. And he's like, we're going up to Evans Creek. You got to come up and go wheeling. I'm like, that sounds awesome. Because I bought a 4-wheel drive so that I could camp deeper in the woods and just get far out. And I was really into rock climbing and all that. And then that very first trip at Evans Creek in 2004 was the first time I used 4Low and like needed it. And like the technical driving, and I was always such a gearhead and obsessed with just how engines work and transmissions, or just mechanically what's going on. It was like it all clicked. It was the perfect blend for me as far as like what I was going to be doing with my life from then on out. And honestly, so because I did that and then started wheeling the crap out of my S10 Blazer, I wanted a K5 Blazer because it's much better off-road, and my stepdad had one growing up, and I thought when he would pick us up from Boy Scout meetings and the K5 Blazer with no top on it, I thought we were the most badass dudes like ever. And so I got a K5 Blazer for a little bit, and then ended up trading that in when I was like 20 for my Jeep, the one that is just sitting in the back of my shop right now. And my life has never been the same. So ever since then, I got obsessed with the wheeling side of things and rock crawling for a very long time. And then around the time that I had met Brad, about a year before that, I started getting back into camping. And then once I met you and went on that trip with you, it was like, I just want to do way more of this. Because unfortunately, there's this weird thing that I've seen between rock crawlers and overlanders, and I don't get it. Because to me, I like it all. Just go off road, man. You know, so I like crawling big gnarly rocks in my Samurai, and then I like having a just beautiful long trip with good friends around a fire, nomad style, for a week or longer, like what you're literally starting right now, 30 days. Is that the longest trip you've done?
Well, we did 30 days last year, so that technically last year was the longest trip I've done. So we're just equaling that.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting.
Anyway, I went off on a tangent and said the whole history how I started, but I don't remember exactly what you asked.
I don't know either. That's okay though, because it's a great story, my friend.
So that's how I got here.
So you,
my life before YouTube.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
You were a plumber.
Yes. So when I was 20 and I got my Jeep, I was a plumber.
Yeah.
Before that, I was a mechanic at a Parkland Chevrolet in Tacoma. And it was a mechanic. I don't want to church it up. I was on the lube rack, and I was working my way to become a mechanic. Yeah. And they were going to put me through school to become a mechanic. And the people who worked there that I really looked up to, they had taken me under their wing, and they were like, do not go into this trade. They said that all like the bread and butter, what you made your money doing, they just don't. You know, you could do spark plugs every 150,000 miles now. Like the things that were like fast jobs that they could charge a lot for and make a lot of money. Anyway, long story short, I became a plumber because a friend of mine's dad owned a plumbing company, and I was going to do that for the rest of my life. I loved it. It was a great gig. And then I met Matt with Bleeping Jeep after I had gotten in a very serious car accident on a freeway. And I had doctors trying to get me to not be a plumber anymore because it's just so hard on your body. I had a brain injury. A lot of people don't know this. Early on in my YouTube videos, you will see comments of people saying this guy's on pills, this guy's drunk. And I was still slurring my words really bad. I went to a speech therapist for 2 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was bad. So anyway, I met Matt with Bleeping Jeep only 4 or 5 months after that. And he saw me videoing. That's how I went down this road. So because my dad was a photographer, I was always had a camera, and I would video me and my friends, like since I was started wheeling.
Yeah.
And once a year we get together, we drink beer, and we just watch clips. I'd never edited a video or anything. So Matt with Bleeping Jeep saw me videoing this trail, and he said, hey, I just finished my diesel TJ, which in those days was very interesting because there were 0 diesel Jeeps. And he's like, if you edit that and I like it and it's good, I will pay you for the footage. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
This like money suck could maybe make me money?
Yeah.
And so then after that, it was all over. I mean, I made, in that year I was with Bleeping Jeep, I made 54 videos. It was a little bit less than a year. And I just fell in love with all of it. I fell in love with video editing. I fell in love with photography. Yeah. And of course, I was already in love with wheeling.
Yeah, and I think it comes through in your fabrication when you're filming yourself doing it. You can see that you love both processes. You can see that you love the video process because you're getting such amazing shots. But you also can tell that you love doing this because you share with your audience that you're figuring things out as you go and you're educating us. I love watching your fabrication videos,
Thank you,
my friend.
man.
Well, but you transitioned into filming some off-road videos, which I thought was very appropriate because you're doing all these cool builds, but now you're showing yourself using them. What was that transition like? Because it's a different type of filming.
Yeah. Well, on Bleeping Jeep, I didn't even know what I was doing. It was like I was just filming and then doing my best to edit in a way that I thought was entertaining for me. And once I started my channel, so anyway, I left Bleeping Jeep on good terms and all that. I wanted to do something where like I owned all the footage. It was on my identity, my branding, all that. And I didn't know whenever I started Bleeping Jeep, I was gonna fall in love with it the way I did. And it was like, you know what? I just want to do this. I want just the channel to be about me. Yeah. Because people are going to Bleeping Jeep for Matt, and some people are watching me too, but it really turned me on to this whole world. And so, oh, dang it, I was setting up it's the end of the day, I'm very tired, so I'm gonna be super rambly, I'm sorry.
It's all good. Dude, that's just what I love about you. This is how conversations go around camp, guys, I'm telling you.
Definitely.
And I've been on the road for 3 days, so we're both a little wasted right
You'd
now.
ask me about fabrication.
Yeah, so what was it like transitioning from filming fabrication to filming off-road videos?
So my first year on my own channel, I don't think I made an off-road video until I was like right around a year or something like that. Because for some reason, to me, what I had learned on Bleeping Jeep was that people really like to watch me build. Yeah. And so to me, YouTube was going to be that. People watch me build. And then I went off and I did this. It was the original King of Elby. It was a competition that was not a competition because it was not like licensed through the state or anything. It was just word of mouth. And I went and filmed me and some friends having fun there. And then I was like, dude, I love this too. Making videos of when you're wheeling is awesome too. Yeah. And so I just started to expand the channel in that way. I'd still say that it's got to be like 80% fab videos on my channel and 20% off-road, but I like it all. I like the variety.
What's the hardest part about making YouTube videos for you?
Figuring out how to, I guess, market it.
Okay.
And that's something other YouTubers are going to relate to. Because you can make a stellar video that is going to satisfy everything that everybody wants, but if you don't have a good title and a reason for people to click, they won't even know that there's this good time they could have watching your video. And so, and I know any YouTuber watching this could definitely relate to that. It is difficult to figure out how to get people to watch your videos.
I agree. What's over the last 6 years, what's been your favorite video that you've created?
Oh man. I know which one it is. I did a video. My favorites are the more friends I can pack into a video, the better. Okay. And I did one. My friend Max Powell had just bought a rock crawler, and this one was called Trial by Fire. And my buddy Franz, I got just a couple of really good, fun friends, and we all ran the Busy Wild at Elby. And it was such a fun time. We didn't stop making each other laugh. Those are the moments that it's hard to replicate. You know, when you're by yourself staring at a camera in your shop, it is really hard to replicate that kind of vibe, you know? You really need somebody else. So I think that's probably my favorite one.
There's a podcast that I listen to about business building, and I love this question. They ask it all the time. Do you think your success on YouTube has been luck or hard work?
Oh, it's all. I mean, I think everything in life is an average of that, right? Not everything. Winning the lottery. I mean, there could be hard work that could lead to winning the lottery, but I think that a lot of things in life come from luck and a blend with hard work. Because I got the opportunity to become a plumber because I was drinking beer with my buddy Spencer and telling him how I love being a mechanic, but all the older mechanics told me not to be. And the luck was that his dad owned a plumbing company and was looking for help. And then after that, it started a whole new career for me. And I became a union foreman and like, you know, very well accomplished. And so there's a level of luck to that. But I became a union foreman because of the hard work.
Right.
So I think that it's always some sort of a blend, and YouTube is no different. You know, there's a certain level of luck. Sometimes you release things right when that topic's about to become hot, and you're like, oh, I don't know how I stumbled into this, but this is wonderful, you know? But the hard work to make that good video makes it to where when people find your channel, well, the hard work you did that. So now, you know, you have the infrastructure to make them want to subscribe and want to watch more.
Yeah. Is there any videos that you created that you wish you wouldn't have?
Oh, man. These are tough
I'm not
questions.
asking the easy questions today.
No, you're not.
Like, is there one you're like, I wish I could undo that one?
I mean, early on, there was ones, so I would like misspeak. And even though I knew exactly what I was doing, I would misspeak, I'd edit, and I'd be like, no one's gonna care about this. And then I'd have to answer the question like hundreds of times to correct.
It's tough.
And I'm talking about small mistakes, like really small mistakes.
Yeah. These guys can be critical when they want to be.
Yeah, certainly, right? I mean, so I can't think of one specifically, but definitely early on, you know, there's a lot of, I think when you have a channel that's under like 10,000 subscribers, you don't get a lot of hate. People are just like, oh wow, I found this cool like small channel. Then once you get once things grow, you'll start to get just people being so unbelievably rude and mean and stuff. And I think that the earlier videos where I would make those mistakes, I wouldn't handle it very well. It's just hard. It's so personal.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
I can go back in time. There were a couple off-road videos where at the time the only copyright-free music I could get was techno. I would like to undo those videos, please.
Dude, man, I can relate to that.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Okay, let's look in the future. 10 years from now, you think you'll still be making shop videos and off-road videos? What's that look like?
I'd like to be.
Yeah?
I'd like to, I mean, I don't know if I've really announced this publicly, but I've been talking about it to my friends for a long time. I mean, since I quit my job plumbing 6 years ago, I guess, well, 5.5 years ago now, I have wanted to open up an off-road shop and make all the YouTube videos of me just building cool stuff for people. So I would like that to happen in the next 10 years. I'd like that to happen in the next like 1 or 2 years if possible.
You can film that.
And yeah, so I want to keep doing YouTube. I just want to make it to where I can have weekends off.
Yeah.
So if I can open up a shop, have someone doing the video, even if I have to edit, whatever, just someone do it. I want to work Monday through Friday, and then the weekends it would be nice to not think about YouTube. Because once you start YouTube, if you want to be successful at it, it will be all that you think about. It will wake you up in the middle of the night when you have an idea.
That's awesome. Okay, I said that I wanted to get into one controversial issue in this conversation. So you have done a lot of builds, some amazing builds, some that I'm just staring at right over here. The J10 is right next to me. How do you feel about doing an electric vehicle build? And I already know how a lot of the audience feels about it. How do you feel about it personally? Because I think that it's coming eventually. Somebody's going to do an overland or a really cool off-road electric build. Are you going to be one of those first guys?
I would do it if it wasn't for the barrier to entry, the cost. I would 100% be down to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, and I'd also have to know how to like disconnect the battery so I can like weld and not worry about just like frying everything. I think that we live in a very interesting time where things that should not be politicized are extraordinarily politicized. So The electric vehicle, I mean, it's probably the most controversial thing in automotive space right now.
Yeah.
You know, you've got muscle car guys resisting it. You have muscle car guys that are all about it. You've got off-roaders. And to me, I don't look at it as being a threat to what I do. And I don't look at it to being like a scam or any of that. I think that you've got gas, diesel, and electric. You have 3 options now. And I think that electric is amazing. I mean, one of the reasons I'm such a huge diesel fan is the on-demand torque. And electric is even more so than diesel. So, okay, you have my attention. So the battery technology, solar charging, that's all the stuff that I'm super excited about. I just put a bunch, you probably didn't even notice, I got a bunch of solar panels on my house because I think that free energy that falls from the sky is super cool. Yeah. So one day I'll invest in EV stuff, but the cost has got to come down quite a bit before I would go that route.
Maybe buy a used one in a few years and go from there.
Maybe. I mean, there's that new Slate thing. Have you seen those?
Yep.
They're priced to where they're interesting.
Yeah.
But I have spent a lot of money in the last year, and I don't know if my wife will ever let me buy a new car again. Yeah. So I might only be buying used cars from here on out because I've been trying to build my dream property out here.
Well, and that's the last topic I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Your dream property. So, dude, you are knee deep into this homesteading thing. I am, one, I am so envious, but 2, I am like in awe of everything you've done to this property here. How has that changed your life?
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about gardening. There's something it does to you. I love it. Even as a kid, I love gardening. We had a garden in my backyard. And I like just staring at the plants. I like just all the interaction with growing food. I love. So, moving out of the city has improved my health.
Yeah.
This year, whenever we start to harvest all the stuff that I'm currently growing, and I start to harvest, meat, wild game, I imagine my health is just only going to further improve. I think that, it's been very important to me. I've slowed down a lot. So I've still worked nonstop, but I've slowed down. I can sit and I can talk to someone out in public, and I don't feel like I have to hurry off because I have that country mentality now.
And I can see it in your kids. So full circle here. I can see it in your kids out there chasing snakes in the yard and picking blackberries and running around in the yard, dude. You're doing it right, man, by raising your kids here at this homestead. But brother, I know I gotta get some sleep because I gotta leave in the morning.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
But I wanted to get on camera with you and just let folks get to know you guys. If you have not seen Nate's YouTube channel, Dirt Lifestyle, go over there. I'm telling you, it's some of the best fabrication content, some of the best off-roading videos out there, just good time stuff with family, friends, filmed really well, which I always appreciate. Brother, I thank you for several years of friendship and hopefully many, many, many more years of friendship.
I'm honored, man.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So. All right, guys, I got to get packed up and leaving for Alaska early in the morning. So until next time, safe travels.